Ya, oke. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin wa bihi nasta'inu ala umuri dunya waddin. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la syarikalah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajmain. Beriring doa semoga teman-teman semuanya, para mahasiswa ada di ruang kelas ini. Eh, Kalau orang Purwokerto menyampaikan Mbak Samar, Mbak itu gelar ya, gelar kehormatan. Yang satunya Mas Liban, ya Mas Liban, Mbak Samar dan Mas Liban. Semoga Allah selalu menjaga Anda semuanya, diberikan kesehatan, keselamatan, kebahagiaan fid dunya wal akhirah. Amin ya rabbal alamin.
Amin.
In this morning, we will start uh, discussion uh, discussion on topic which you take yourself in several topic and presented your PPT in this time. I think Mas Liban has prepared PPT. Please presented your PPT about studi on Islam and Muhammadiyah, kemuhammadiyahan. Sudah siap kira-kira Mas Liban untuk presentasi hari ini?
Sudah siap, Pak. Ini presentasinya buat nanti UTS atau presentasi sekarang nggak apa-apa?
Ya, sekarang boleh. Ya, untuk OTS juga boleh. Jadi nanti barangkali, maybe, ya maybe have you agenda on uh, apa time time UTS ya, barangkali Anda keluar kota di waktu UTS boleh juga disampaikan hari ini. Tapi kalau misalnya pas di jadwalnya UTS Anda tidak keluar kota ya boleh juga. Pilihan.
Ya, kemarin. Oh ya, terima kasih, Pak. Ini kemarin aku punya rencana mau ke Jakarta, tapi sepertinya nggak. Jadi kan ada kegiatan lain yang juga saya harus ikut di kampus Unsur. Berarti aku dijadwalkan ikut kegiatan di sana, berarti nggak bisa keluar kota. So,
Oh,
kalau presentasinya itu ya dibuat ini aja. UTS atau sekarang juga nggak apa-apa. Misal kalau presentasi sekarang nanti ya di apa ya digantikan dengan waktu bahas UTS juga nggak apa-apa. Tapi aku
oh,
nanti nggak keluar kota, tetap di sini.
oh gitu. Ya, ya. Jadi pilihan. Jadi kalau
Ya,
ini juga boleh, pas yang terjadwal juga boleh. Ya.
aku presentasi sekarang biar nanti bahas UTS itu sibuk mata kuliah yang lain nggak apa-apa ya.
Ya, ya, it's good, very good. Ya, boleh, boleh. Ya.
Berarti aku presentasi sekarang.
Oh ya, ya.
Oke, Pak. Sebentar.
Sekalian nanti saya sampaikan, there is a inviting letter for international student, ya, for motivate student of junior high school, senior high school, and elementary high school, which have program bilingual program, ya, Arabic and English. Eh, jadi ini ada undangan dari kepala sekolah, SMK Muhammadiyah, SMP Muhammadiyah, dan sekolah dasar yang memiliki program bilingual. Ini undangannya eh, khusus untuk mahasiswa internasional, diminta untuk berkolaborasi, memberikan motivasi tentang bahasa, tentang budaya, pengetahuan tentang eh, berpikir global, kemudian bertindak atau berbuat lokal, begitu. Intinya ya memberikan motivasi. Tanggalnya tanggal 7 November. Tanggal 7 November itu hari Kamis apa ya? Hari Kamis. Jika
Tanggal
nanti
tanggal 7 Pak, nanti aku ada tanggal 7.
oh sudah ada agenda.
Ya, seminar proposal.
Oh, seminar. Oh, gitu. Hadir berarti ya.
Ya, tanggal 7 nanti pagi ada seminar proposal. Itu jam berapa itu?
Kalau jamnya nanti mungkin ya setelah seminar. Itu seminar jam berapa?
Jam 9 sampai jam 10.
Oh, boleh. Berarti nanti kita kalau perjalanan sih 1 jam lah ya. 1 jam.
Ya, setelah jam 10 kalau bisa ya, nggak Pak?
Oh ya boleh. Saya buat itinerary-nya dulu ya, boleh. Nanti kita rancangkan. Ya, seminar proposal ya.
Iya, Pak.
Oh ya, berarti nanti setelah seminar nanti misalnya jam 10 ya, kita ya jam 11 lah boleh. Oke, nanti jam 11.
Ini kelihatan nggak?
Ya, kelihatan. Kelihatan. Wah, ini bagus ini.
Ya, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Selamat pagi, good morning, sabah al khair, sabah wanaagsan semuanya. Eh, Hari ini, today I want to present the chapter that I have chosen in the book of Dr. Haidar, the book which talks about the creation and the foundation, the basic foundation of Muhammadiyah organization in Indonesia, which is the second largest Islamic organization in Indonesia and also outside Indonesia. That the organization also they engaged about Islamic philanthropic and also education in Indonesia and outside Indonesia. They also expanded their authority to neighboring countries, including Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, and Muhammadiyah was created almost 100 years ago, yeah, in Jogja, and they have almost more than 6,000 universities that are under their control, and they teach about the Islamic values, spreading da'wah, and and how to make ummah come back to the right way of Islam or to the true path of Islam. And this chapter in the book we will talk about it is chapter 8, and we will talk about revitalization of Muhammadiyah ideology, which is reviving. And also this chapter is presentation on behalf of the exam, midterm exam on OTS, so it will change about the OTS later. Okay, revitalization of Muhammadiyah ideology, it's literally about how to revive the ideology of Muhammadiyah, or how to renew it, how to give it a new synergy and a new power and a new energy of Muhammadiyah ideology in Indonesia. And let's start about revitalization and the meaning. Okay, revitalization means the re-strengthening. Revitalization is a policy, or it's a strategy that it is meant to make some change and based on what is already owned. Means in which challenge might strengthen and fortify the organization, which is like taking observation and looking deeply inside the organization, and also thinking about which part of the organization is weak and which part it is needed to be strengthened or to be fortified or to make it strong. Okay, here we also have the certain weaknesses or weakening conditions that Muhammadiyah organization they have met in the way, and this is the weakening that they need to be re-strengthening. So revitalization is actually the meaning of to make strong again of the organization. This includes the ideology done step by step, just to systemize through the process of arrangement, supervision, and also improving and developing of the organization. Here we also have the time it started revitalization of Muhammadiyah organization, which is at Tanwir في مدينة Jogja. So we have Tanwir in Jogja. The revitalization of ideology includes the complete, comprehensive through including the describing the meaning and the scope also of ideology, which is like what we need to include it in the ideology and what ideology is going to focus about, and also it is the concept of understanding the materials. Eastern Mill in Jogja in 2007 was decided. The two decision was made there. These two decisions made there was the first one. It was related the policy renew in the formation of organization strategy and revitalization ideology, and the second one it was entitled revitalization ideology as consolidation, means to consolidate or reconcile for the faith and aspiration of Muhammadiyah life, which is like how to consolidate the ideology that Muhammadiyah have, which is Islamic ideology, Islamic faith, and also aspiration of the organization, how to make a strong organization, how to make organization effective, how to make organization live for a long time. That was the second Tanwir in Jogja. We also have revitalization and its ideological importance. Why ideologically revitalization was important, or why was needed in Muhammadiyya organization to make again renewable of ideology? Here we have number of points that it was important. Importance of ideology is number one, which is emphasizing in Tanwir decision making in Jogja as crucial strengthening the Muhammadiyya movement organization. And the second one, it was the risk of neglect. Why? Because within the time, almost 100 years in the organization have been experiencing some kinds of ideological ignore and weakness. The movement organization of Muhammadiyah was becoming weak. Lemah, lemah. So, kenapa organisasi jadi lemah? Like why the organization of Muhammadiyah becoming weak? So the movement they needed internal review and external review also. And then the third one, they needed to understand Muhammadiyah ideology through a comprehensive or comprehension, means understanding of Muhammadiyah ideology and its various aspects, which is very important or essential. Number four, they needed strategic step is needed to implement the step for affirmation, reinforcement, and ideology necessary to. Number five, they also needed mindsets behavior of alignment, which is ensuring the members of the leaders employ the principle of Muhammadiyah in their action and also leading the leadership to make a leadership view or the leadership in the organization to work. Number six, they needed to focus area. Which area is needed to focus, which was the charity service philanthropic organization that aligns with the Muhammadiyah values and organization idea. The policy of ideology revitalization in Muhammadiyah ideology was the key point in Tanwir in Muhammadiyah in Jogja. The background was the post-45 Mu'tamar yang ke-45 2005 2005 to ignore the movement, which is like to give a light for the movement again. Revitalization power policy was aimed to reinforcing, affirming, or making a strong or all aspects of the movement. And number two, it was needed the commitment from the leaders of Muhammadiyah and its organization to fulfill the policy as it was intended. And also, what makes revitalization of Muhammadiyah was there was internal challenge. Number one, there was attraction to other ideology without understanding. Meaning, orang-orang yang ada di dalam Muhammadiyah atau anggota yang ada di dalam Muhammadiyah, tanpa ketahuan mereka ada atraksi ideologi yang lain atau ikut organisasi yang lain tanpa Muhammadiyah. So that was needed to be changed. Ada internal challenge. And number two, there was weakening spirit or identity among Muhammadiyah. Means the members of our organization, they fully didn't understand why they were there and they didn't have the spirit or the power. Number three, there was a decrease of compliance of Muhammadiyah, which was implementasi aturan Muhammadiyah, reduce solidarity and synergy with the organization. Dan orang-orang itu anggota memulai kehilangan interest, tidak tertarik lagi. Itu juga salah satu challenge. And then prioritization of external activity of Muhammadiyah and its objective. So there's also external challenge, which was political influence, which is penetrating the organization. Means member yang ada Muhammadiyah, mereka penetrate organisasi yang lain. And then increasing the presence of complex idea. Means then ada yang muncul which is the conflict of interest or conflict of ideology. And then this is the strategic steps that Muhammadiyah organization in Mu'tamar al-Jogja, they decided to make it or to fulfill. Number one, they needed to optimize regular lectures or belajaran tentang Muhammadiyah ideology at all level. Di sekolah, di kampus, di anggota semua all. And then number two, they needed to strengthen the ideology material in meetings, conductive, intensive courtship programs, introduce ideology to high school, university, and everywhere, enhance Islamic da'wah and organization, require commitment and agreement for the members in charity organization, tighten the ideology requirements, leadership demonstration, commitment, self-control, teaching Muhammadiyah ideology constantly in education in campus, university, and all, and wisely reject incompatible ideology during the da'wah. Means rejecting others incompatible, means a da'wah which is not Islamic da'wah. A da'wah that cannot go with Muhammadiyah value is rejected. And here we also have bestowing rewards and punishment. Ia harus ada akibat yang luar pelanggaran itu organisasi value Muhammadiyah itu. Reward is given, ini reward adalah is given member Muhammadiyah or Muhammadiyah leaders who work in charity service organization and achievement in all levels, which is bersyarikatan dan charity service Muhammadiyah. The banishment also existed here is given to each leaders or members of bersyarikatan of people those work in charity of Muhammadiyah service and they are proven intentionally to violate the commitments of being in Muhammadiyah. Means kalau salah satu anggota di dalam Muhammadiyah dia violate anggota atau aturan di dalam Muhammadiyah, dia juga ada iqamnya, banishment, dia diusir dari organisasi, tapi dia dikasih warning atau dikasih tahu beberapa lama ada affirmative action atau disciplinary action sebelumnya. Tapi kalau dia masih tetap, nanti dia diusir dari organisasi Muhammadiyah. Okay, the form of banishment here is according to the level of violation and inclusiveness. So the form includes about giving the verbal warning, giving a letter of statements, giving the offer, for example, to restore the commitment to Muhammadiyah members or good terms, resign atau mereka resign dari posisi mereka, or giving another job or job movement or changing the position. Atau pilihan, if he uses for example point number one which is like restore of Muhammadiyah but he still violates, mungkin dia bilang aku akan perbaiki tapi dia still violate aturan Muhammadiyah, dan then he will not have a right to be in Muhammadiyah organization, dia tak punya hak lagi. Tapi kalau dia masih tetap nggak ada perubahan, he never changes, so he will be kicked out. So the form of banishment according to the level of Muhammadiyah includes Iftitah, which means ideology, is one of ideology that defines the ideology of banishment. Here is ideology which is the important and highly influential worldview besides the religion knowledge. Ideology, this Iftitah defines the ideology as a belief or theory or a struggle that's a people or group of people they need to have objective in life. Means a person must have Iftitah. Iftitah's ideology is believing that you must have a strong commitment and social objective in the organization that you belong to. So Muhammadiyah, they also have iftitah, the openness. And also here we have the strategy, a comprehensive view of people of the world in the universe, and then social political, you must understand the social political of the organization of Muhammadiyah, and then you must have the awareness declaration in the form of a struggle by doing the changing the base of belief and plan ideology. Number four, you must have the effort and encourage people to accepting the ideology with the demand of loyal involvement of its followers. And number five, you must have the efforts to mobilize as worldwide possible, which is cadre programming or cadreship in Muhammadiyah. They have cadreship program who will then support the ideology according to the Ribeiro in 1986. Okay, here we also have the underlying thoughts. Kalau punya pikiran atau ideology, ada ideology di bawahnya, which is like underlining fact or underlining thoughts. The fact that has shown the reformation atau perbaikan atau dibuat lagi. Reformation era has created new tendency power which emerges the development of various movements such as political party, interest groups, and so what is needed will be the influence of the dynamic of national life. The emergence of these new movements encourages the spirit of فاستبقوا الخيرات. So Muhammadiyah involves the ideology of فاستبقوا الخيرات to be competitive as good as possible to build the people and the nation for a better future. So the ideology is based on Quranic ideology which is فاستبقوا الخيرات. And then this is the ayah in the book that says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الَّذِينَ يُقَاتِلُونَ فِي سَبِيلِهِ صَفًّا كَأَنَّهُمْ بُنْيَانٌ مَرْصُوصٌ. Indeed, Allah loves those who fight in the cause or in the way of Allah at the road, the same that they are single structure, joint family. Surah Saf. And we also have the foundational purposes of revitalization of Muhammadiyah. Today, Muhammadiyya needs the ideological bonds against through the revitalization ideology. So ideology is needed. Why ideology is needed? Ideology is needed to build a system, solidarity, direction, mengarahkan, members, anggota, mobilization, and strategy struggle according to the Muhammadiyya movements. So how we do all this revitalization? This is the foundation of revitalization in Muhammadiyya organization. Number one, following Quran and Sunnah, status of Belos and Muhammadiyya, decision of Mu'tamar and Tanwir, formal thoughts with Muhammadiyya organization, organizational policy according to the letter that was issued 2006, which is the letter of decision of Muhammadiyya Central Executive numbering 149 KEBI 1 2006 Consolidation Organization Tariff Service in Muhammadiyya. And what is the purpose? Apa tujuannya? So the purpose is to socialize and implementation of Muhammadiyah idealism of Islamic faith, the optimal functioning of all institution yang punya atau under authority of Muhammadiyah, kekuasaan Muhammadiyah, they must function Islamically all institutions and develop Muhammadiyah members, implementing of the program activities related to this systemized synergy and ideological development. And here we have Muhammadiyya ideology. In Muhammadiyya ideology, which is actually faith of life, it is faith of life, which was Dinjar Tamimi since 1968, quoted from reference Dinjar. He says faith as inspiration of life, means life needs inspiration. So the faith of life, it is stated that to reach inspiration of Muhammadiyya. And then ideology of Muhammadiyya is also formulated in the faith that believes aspiration of Muhammadiyya, the life, which is Muhammadiyah punya matan, keyakinan, dan cita-cita hidup kemuhammadian, MKCH. And then here we have the substance of preference of Muhammadiyah status included in 6 main ideology as follows. Number one, human life has to be respected or based on tawheed. Human life has to be socialized with other people. No one can stay alone. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's laws in Quran and Sunnah are struggling to uphold the rivers of Islam to realize the true Islam and society and its obligation fulfilling Islam, and struggle to uphold the rivers of Islam, realize Islamic society, which is ittiba' sunnah wal Quran, and also the struggle of realization of the main idea of Islamic idea. And then this is the strategy. What kind of strategy they follow Muhammadiyah to make it revitalization or to make organization Muhammadiyah kuat lagi? Increasing the effort of implanting the socializing, implanting Islamic comprehension in Muhammadiyah, intensifying the effort to strengthen the reimplant atau rekuatkan ya, the understanding of appreciation of formal thoughts, solidifying the direction, strategy, consolidation of the charity, philanthropic organization, and ideological development, intensifying implementation of more integrated and systemized cadreship of Muhammadiyah. And then we need mobilizing, raising the ethic of jihad. We need jihad al-nafs or jihad aqidah. And then jihad fi sabilillah, to the way of God. Implementing the intensifying ideological development in all lines of Sharikatan, socializing and implementing the decision of letter of Muhammadiyah, kana ummatan wahida, which is the ayah of Quran says. They also have a strategy called a khatima or khatima. Khatima is the revitalization strategy and ideology which is needed. It's a systematic strategy that is doing by arranging, guidance, enhancing, developing, strengthening commitment of all bonds and members of Muhammadiyah according to the value, mission, efforts, and interests of organization Muhammadiyah. So what is the future of Muhammadiyah? The future of Muhammadiyah is the shoulders of the members, anggota-anggota Muhammadiyah, the leaders of Muhammadiyah, the cadreship of Muhammadiyah, mobilizing loyalty, responsibility, participation, expected all members to be participated organization fully. And then the organization must be in line to confirm the orderly and the policy, and then to ensure accumulation of the ideology and doubling gathering all dedication to the efforts, and also realizing the purpose of Muhammadiyah, which is realization of true Islamic society. True Islamic society, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran. إنما المؤمنون إخوة فأصلحوا بين أخويكم. So true Islamic society, Islamic brotherhood, إخوان المسلمين. والله على ما نقول وكيل. Thank you so much.
Masya Allah, Alhamdulillah. Syukron, jazakumullah khairan. Very completed, very elaborated, and extended explanation about uh, revitalization of Muhammadiyah movement ya. Sangat bagus, sangat komprehensif membahas tentang revitalisasi ideologi Muhammadiyah ya, ideologi Muhammadiyah. Eh, yang pertama kita ingin sampaikan karena ini akademik diskusi, maka kita berikan kepada Samar untuk memberikan tanggapan. What your response about presentation, Liban's presentation, substance, ya
Ya,
menyangkut ide, juga kaitannya tadi tema dan isi pentingnya revitalisasi. Silakan Samar memberikan tanggapan.
yeah, thank you so much for his presentation. I think all clear and really complete, so I don't have any comment or any additional
Oke,
information. Thank you.
oke, thank you very much. Saya akan memberikan tanggapan, ya, tanggapan. Saya akan share terlebih dahulu sebagai pembanding sebelum saya bertanya, ya, sebelum saya bertanya. This is about higher education institution conducted or managed by Muhammadiyah, ya, erected by Muhammadiyah. Until now, there are 172, ya, 172 pendidikan tinggi yang dimiliki oleh Muhammadiyah, ya, Muhammadiyah. Kemudian 172 divided university, they are 81, ya, and colleges they are 54, ya, 54. Another 29 institute, ya, and 6 polytechnic, and there are 2 academy, ya, academy. Our next board Purbalingga, ya, Purbalingga district, ya, Purbalingga district. Have you ever go to Purbalingga, Samar?
Yes, Pak.
Purbalingga, ya, Purbalingga. Liban, have you ever go to Purbalingga? Yeah. Purwokerto is a regency of Banyumas, Kabupaten Banyumas, ya, Kabupaten Banyumas. Di sebelah timur, ya, on the east, ya, on the east ada kabupaten namanya Purbalingga, ya. Di Purbalingga, in district or region Purbalingga, there is one institute, ya, institute, the new institute erected by Muhammadiyah, pimpinan daerah Muhammadiyah Kabupaten Purbalingga. Institut namanya ITBN, Institut Teknologi Bisnis, ya, Teknologi Bisnis. This is the mungkin yang terbaru, ya, yang terbaru, institut terbaru di Kabupaten Banyumas, spesialis in business, ya, in business. Jadi hampir, ya, di dunia ini barangkali tidak ada organisasi, ya, organisasi dakwah yang memiliki perguruan tinggi lebih dari Muhammadiyah. Jadi tadi Muhammadiyah, many institute, they are higher education ya, institution, 172 pendidikan tinggi, ya, pendidikan tinggi. Bahkan ini lebih besar daripada perguruan tinggi, ya, higher education erected by apa namanya government ya, government. Jadi ini satu kesyukuran, alhamdulillah, bahwa kontribusi Muhammadiyah terhadap pengembangan pendidikan tinggi sangat besar. Bahkan they are also university in Malaysia. The name is UMAM, University Muhammadiyah of Malaysia. I think it's better for us ya to go abroad to UMAM ya, to UMAM. This is UMAM specials in conducted in magister and doctor ya. You can also apply in UMAM ya, also in UMAM get scholarship in Malaysia also. Yeah, because specialist in magister and doctor multidisiplin. Ya, bisa kuliah nanti mendapatkan beasiswa juga dari Muhammadiyah, kuliahnya di Malaysia. This is perguruan tinggi yang ada di Indonesia. Also in Australia ya, in Australia this is very sangat masyhur ya, sangat masyhur karena pendidikannya sudah terintegrasi. Baik, ini dilihat dari perguruan tinggi. Can you explain to us any organization, dakwah organization in this world have many higher education institution? Bisa Anda sebutkan salah satu organisasi dakwah yang memiliki perguruan tinggi yang mungkin setara dengan Muhammadiyah, kira-kira ada tidak? Mungkin di dunia ini. Mungkin di dunia mungkin tidak ada ya. Jadi Muhammadiyah sudah masuk abad kedua ini ya, sudah menghasilkan 172 pendidikan tinggi. Mungkin tidak ada ya, tidak ada. Jadi ini termasuk kesyukuran kita bahwa Muhammadiyah kontribusinya sangat besar, tidak diragukan lagi. Mungkin kita melihat, mendengar tentang perguruan tinggi di luar negeri yang bonafit, very prestigious in this world ya. Mungkin perguruan tinggi apa ini kalau di Amerika ya. Tapi hanya ada di Amerika, di luar negeri mungkin ya ada, tapi tidak sebanyak itu ya. Ada juga. Mungkin Harvard ada, sangat masyhur, tapi Harvard hanya satu ya, tetapi tidak mendirikan juga di tempat lain. Tentu saja ada keuntungan dan kerugiannya. Baik, ini yang pertama. Nah, belum lagi ya primary and secondary education ya. They are 6.574. Wah, ini 650 apa nih? 6.000 ya. 6.574. Ini sangat, saya kira juga sangat besar ya, sangat besar kontribusi Muhammadiyah mendirikan namanya sekolah. Bahkan sekolahnya juga sangat bagus-bagus ya, sangat bagus-bagus. Ya, nanti barangkali kalau kita ke Jogja ada namanya primary and secondary education is very famous in Yogyakarta. The name is SD Sapen ya. SD Sapen in vocational education in Malang. They are also very famous ya, very famous. Okay. This is primary education ya. ya primary general ya and Islamic ini 1377. And junior ya in general junior secondary school 1154. For Islamic junior secondary school ya like ya mungkin SD UMP lah ya the match for Islamic basic education ya 500. Nah, kemudian senior secondary school, vocational 609, special school ya special school 36, nah, non formal school, nah, boarding school I think summers I think ever go to Zamzam ya Zamzam boarding school. This is in Indonesia they are 393 ya 393 boarding school. This is also very prestigious also ya prestigious also 6.574 institution primary and secondary school ya in Indonesia ya in Indonesia erected or managed by Muhammadiyah. They are also held ya in health services ya services also. Ya. Muhammadiyah erected by Kiai Haji Ahmad Dahlan when Kiai Haji Ahmad Dahlan tadarus or membaca Al-Quran ya membaca Al-Quran spirit of Al-Ma'un ya spirit Al-Ma'un this teologi Al-Ma'un in Muhammadiyah keep motivate ya agar kita jangan sampai di apa namanya yang menjadi hitop dari ayat-ayat tersebut jangan sampai kita termasuk di dalamnya. Nah begitu. Maka Kiai Haji Ahmad Dahlan ketika membaca Spirit of Al-Ma'un ya, maka dia menerjemahkan ya menafsirkan jadi fungsi Al-Qur'an sebagai namanya petunjuk, maka kemudian Kiai Haji Ahmad Dahlan mempraktekkan ya bagaimana orang-orang yang tidak beruntung itu diwujudkan dalam namanya panti ya penolong kesengsaraan umum ya Muhammadiyah Public Health Service ya kalau di dalam surat Al-Maun kan A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim Bismillahirrahmanirrahim أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدعو اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون. Based on the spirit, the teaching of Surat Al-Maun, so Muhammadiyah concerns on public health service. So the institution, specialist, service public health, name penolong kesengsaraan umum, name PKU, PKU. So in many district, many kabupaten in Indonesia, there are 113 rumah sakit, 113 rumah sakit yang didirikan oleh Muhammadiyah. Agar apa? Agar masyarakat yang tadi sakit, sengsara, kemudian tidak beruntung, itu bisa namanya diberdayakan, bisa diproses well educated ya, agar diberdayakan menjadi terjamin pendidikannya, diperhatikan. Kebetulan saya mendapatkan mandat dari Muhammadiyah Central Board Muhammadiyah in Banyumas. I apa namanya get mandat to leader of Panti ya, penolong kesengsaraan umat. This is special for Darul Aitam ya, menjadi apa namanya pemimpin atau ketua yang membawahi mengurusi tentang anak-anak yatim. Jika ada waktu, saya kira sangat senang sekali teman-teman bisa berkunjung ke tempat panti asuhan yang ada di Kota Purwokerto ya. Ini panti asuhan ini didirikan tahun 1923 ya. Jadi apa namanya sangat tua, bahkan lebih tua dari Republik. Ini ada di Kota Purwokerto ya. Jadi nanti sangat concern terhadap anak-anak yang tadi tidak beruntung ya. Jadi tadi membaca tadarus Al-Quran, karena fungsi Al-Quran adalah sebagai petunjuk, maka kemudian Ki Haji Ahmad Dahlan berusaha mendirikan namanya institusi yang bisa menolong kesengsaraan umat, baik di bidang kesehatan, namanya rumah sakitnya Rumah Sakit PKU Muhammadiyah. Many district, many area in Indonesia, special hospital ya erected by Muhammadiyah. So the name is Rumah Sakit PKU ya, RSI ya, Rumah Sakit Islam PKU. PKU the name is penolong kesengsaraan umat ya, before ya, penolong kesengsaraan umat. Ya. Kemudian 231 klinik ya, and several pharmacy and rehabilitation center ya, rehabilitation center. Also this is very famous ya, very famous rumah sakit. Mungkin kalau di Purwokerto ada rumah sakit, mungkin nanti kalau ini kaitannya dengan manajemen perlu juga nanti apa namanya Liban dan Samar juga bisa sekedar untuk lihat-lihat dan survei ya tentang rumah sakit yang ada di Kota Purwokerto yang dimiliki oleh Muhammadiyah. And social services ya, social services ya, social services. This is social services. Singkatnya, ini singkatnya. Ya. Bahkan ada namanya this is special organization for women in Muhammadiyah. The name is Aisyah ya, Aisyah. Aisyah is organisasi otonom ya, the autonomous organization ya mungkin not subordinate ya, but ya menjadi namanya mitra ya, mitra dari Muhammadiyah namanya Aisyah ya, Aisyah. Well, they are for university ya, erected, oil built or established by Aisyah. Ya, Aisyah. The big university erected by Aisyah in Yogyakarta, Universitas Aisyah Yogyakarta. Ya, Universitas Aisyah. This is also peran yang sangat besar ya, the big role of Muhammadiyah in Indonesia, especially in Asia ya, in Asia. Universitas Aisyah Yogyakarta. Ya, untuk apa Aisyah didirikan? This is concerned in education, ya, health, economy, and religion. In education, because women in Indonesia tradition, ya, Indonesia tradition and Indonesia stratification, ya. Jadi wanita di Indonesia itu dalam masa eh, sebelum kemerdekaan atau mungkin hampir sampai saat ini ya masih ada namanya eh, ketidakadilan, ya. Ketidakadilan memandang wanita adalah the women is the second class, ya, second class. Wanita adalah kelas yang nomor dua, ya, nomor dua. Jadi dia tidak the the role of woman in Indonesia before, ya, before freedom, ya, before sebelum kemerdekaan itu independen, ya, independen, ditempatkan wanita sebagai the second class, ya. The first class is ya laki-laki, ya, laki-laki. I think the same tradition also before jahiliyah, ya, jahiliyah. Jadi laki-laki begitu. Sehingga peran the role of women in Indonesia, ya, just in sektor domestik, ya, not in sektor publik, ya. Jadi wanita dilarang untuk mengambil peran-peran publik, ya, tidak boleh menjadi guru, tidak boleh menjadi kepala sekolah, tidak boleh menjadi direktur, bahkan wanita tidak boleh sekolah, ya. So education specials in women in Indonesia is very poor, ya. So pendidikannya sangat rendah. So Muhammadiyah, ya, berjuang agar wanita di Indonesia itu menjadi terdidik, ya. Karena Muhammadiyah adalah organisasi yang rapi, maka the first congress, ya, first congress history in Indonesia, ya, led by Aisyah, itu first congress. Jadi wanita pertama di Indonesia itu justru dipelopori oleh Muhammadiyah, oleh Aisyah. Jadi apa hasil kongres atau muktamar, ya, bahwa wanita harus terdidik, ya, wanita harus terdidik. Jadi peran wanitanya itu harus menjadi wanita yang cerdas, wanita yang solehah, wanita yang mendapatkan ilmu pengetahuan. Kita bisa membayangkan bagaimana jika wanitanya itu tidak cerdas, ya, maka melahirkan generasi juga yang lemah, ya, generasi yang tidak cerdas. Maka dalam Al-Qur'an kan diperintahkan wal yakhshal ladzina law taraku min khalfihim dzurriyyatan di'afan, ya. Jadi hendaklah kita takut, ya, melahirkan satu generasi yang lemah, ya. Lemah apa tadi? Tidak punya pendidikan. Kalau wanitanya tidak terdidik, maka akan melahirkan generasi yang bodoh, ya, generasi yang tidak terdidik. Nah, bangsa ini menjadi bangsa yang lemah, ya. Maka Muhammadiyah sangat concern bagaimana wanitanya harus terdidik. Maka tadi disampaikan di bagian awal, Aisyah banyak mendirikan namanya non formal institution for education, ya, non formal. Bahkan juga yang formal, bahkan sampai sekarang Aisyah itu sangat concern tadi dengan bidang-bidang riset dan pendidikan tinggi, ya. Wah, itu luar biasa. Nah, inti dari yang kaitannya dipresentasikan oleh Liban tadi, ini ada kaitannya. Ternyata kontribusi Muhammadiyah, baik dilihat dari spektrum institusi, pendidikannya, rumah sakitnya, kemudian lembaga-lembaga yang kaitannya dengan sosial, kesehatan, ya, primary and secondary education, ya, perguruan tinggi, wah itu sangat besar sekali. Tapi jika tidak mampu di-manage, apa yang akan terjadi? Tadi disampaikan oleh Liban, maka akan terjadi ya kehancuran. Maka kehancuran senantiasa biasanya dimulai dari tadi petanya sangat bagus ya. Dari mana where from the breakdown ya. Breakdown mungkin posisi keruntuhan dari Muhammadiyah tadi petanya come from internal and external faktor ya, internal and external faktor yang dapat Muhammadiyah menjadi hancur bahkan juga menjadi tadi ya ditelan sejarah ya. Karena ini sudah memasuki abad yang kedua, ini maka sangat penting. So Muhammadiyah must revitalized ya, melakukan revitalisasi ideologinya. Jadi yang pertama tadi direvitalisasi dari internal. Saya kira itu sebagai pembanding. Nah, pertanyaannya ini, pertanyaannya, ya, pertanyaan untuk Liban. Ya. Saat ini ada namanya globalisasi, ya, globalisasi. Muhammadiyah juga tadi mendapatkan tantangan besar dari gerakan-gerakan yang merontohkan ideologi-ideologi yang merontohkan baik dari internal Muhammadiyah, internal Indonesia maupun yang eksternal. Nah, mungkin apa ya ideologi eksternal dari luar negeri yang barangkali sangat berpengaruh terhadap salah satu saja ya, salah satu terhadap gerakan dakwah Muhammadiyah. Mungkin satu pertanyaan saja. Silakan dijawab, mungkin juga nanti Samar bisa menambahkan. Ya, sekarang namanya pusara. Pusara itu tantangan atau mungkin serbuan atau mungkin juga ancaman ya, the threat will hint Muhammadiyah come from abroad lah, dari luar negeri. Kira-kira apa dan mungkin bisa dideskripsikan.
Okay, thank you so much. So thank you for the explanation also. According to my research, after I have read the book of Dr. Haidar, and also the challenges that he told that Muhammadiyah organization was facing, one of the external challenges was that ideological challenge,
Ya,
which is that some of members of the Muhammadiyah organization, they have started to penetrate with other ideology,
ya,
which is like ideology which is more different than the ideology which Muhammadiyah organization has. So the ideology, in my opinion, the book didn't mention clearly what specific ideology that the members of Muhammadiyah has penetrated or make them external challenge. But what I think is that although Muhammadiyah ideology, which was Islamic movement organization, which is based on Islamic da'wah or Islamic spread of religion, which is faith, Quran and Sunnah, and also Islamic ideology, which is Salaf al-Salih, which follows like Islamic ideological of Salaf.
ya,
And what penetrates our Muhammadiyah organization says some of the members of the Muhammadiyah organization have penetrated ideology which is different of Salaf al-Salih, which is they have come up with Islamic ideology, maybe either Islamic ideology, which is different than the morals and the values of Muhammadiyah organization, which is not actually the ideology of Salaf al-Salih, which is, for example, having different mazhab or having different scholars, which is not the one which Muhammadiyah organization is employed, or some of them even becoming like more extreme Islamists, or some of them becoming fanatics, or some of them being to be Wahhabi, some of them being to a Sufi Al Qadiriyah, some of them becoming like Naqshbandi, some
Hmm.
of them becomes like even some people have penetrated the ideology of extreme, which is polarizing the Shia, which is like they don't have the synergy or the importance that organization must be organization of Salaf al-Salih, organization of as-Salaf al-Salih, which is also all the people Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, but the only difference is that Sufism, is this the mystical Sufism, Islamic mystical Sufism, or is this Salaf al-Salih, or some people becoming extremists, or they're going to be Islamic jihadists, Islamic Wahhabi, or some people becoming like
Yeah.
becoming even having the ideology of Shiism. Some people they also becoming like Sufi Ahmadiyya, Sufi. So the madhab that Indonesian Muhammadiyya has is madhab al-Shafi'iyya,
Hmm.
madhab Imam al-Shafi'i, which is madhab al-Salaf al-Salih. So having, for example, different madhab or becoming Hanabila or becoming Malikiyya or becoming another madhab, it doesn't affect. But what the effect is that becoming extreme or becoming go far away, which is different the value of Muhammadiyya, becoming very restrict or becoming joining the ideology of Hanabila or taking ideology of Malikiyya into ideology of Shafi'iyya, which was supposed Muhammadiyya to be Madhab Salaf Salih, which is Madhab Shafi'i. That's what I think. Thanks so much.
Okay, thank you very much for your response and for your horizon of ideology will hinge or attack Muhammadiyah existence ya. Saya kira semua institusi, semua organisasi, khususnya organisasi dakwah mengalami masalah yang sama ya, benturan peradaban, ancaman, tantangan yang sedemikian kompleks ya. Nah, itu semua harus mampu dihadapi, must be managed by Muhammadiyah ya, must be managed ya. If Muhammadiyah can't manage this challenge ya, this tantangan ya, so Muhammadiyah akan tadi berkeping-keping hancur. Maka tadi kata we invest for your PPT tadi ya, must be revitalization ya, harus direvitalisasi, menguatkan kembali. Intinya pada problem bagaimana Muhammadiyah mampu memanage. Jadi saya kira keilmuan Liban ini sangat dipentingkan ini, kemampuan leadership ya, leadership Muhammadiyah. Ada satu hasil penelitian yang di mungkin nanti kesempatan berikutnya kita tunjukkan hasil risetnya ya. Muhammadiyah adalah organisasi dakwah yang manajemennya itu luar biasa. Jadi orang-orang yang berada di Muhammadiyah itu nggak digaji itu, dari pimpinan pusat, the Central Board of Muhammadiyah in Jakarta, in Yogyakarta, mereka memikirkan berada di organisasi Muhammadiyah tidak digaji, ya. Karena Muhammadiyah bukan organisasi profesi, tapi organisasi dakwah. Ini yang menjadi heran para pengamat, para pengkaji tentang Islamic Studies and Muhammadiyah. Muhammadiyah sebesar ini yang tadi sudah dideskripsikan, mengapa malah tidak digaji begitu ya? Ini satu kekuatan ya. Jadi kalau organisasi profesi kan harus digaji ya. Tapi ini tidak digaji, tapi tadi kontribusinya, kebesarannya sudah tidak diragukan, tadi sampai 170 berapa 5 institusi pendidikan tinggi ya, sampai ribuan juga pendidikan dasar dan menengah, itu ya tidak satupun yang mendapatkan gaji ya. Sehingga ada pesan dari Ki Haji Ahmad Dahlan, salah satu pesannya adalah hidupilah Muhammadiyah ya, tetapi jangan hidup di Muhammadiyah. Ini filosofi ya. Artinya ya kita kalau tantangan organisasi modern, maka dalam profesionalitas memang menjunjung tinggi profesionalitas. Ketika kita bekerja dengan profesionalitas, maka orang lain akan menghargainya. Nah, gitu ya. Tapi kalau kita bekerja tetapi tidak didasarkan kepada tadi kerja hanya sebagai kerja semata, itu menjadi kerugian. Maka jadikan kerja sebagai bentuk amal yang paling tinggi, yang itu menjadi nilainya dunia sekaligus juga di akhirat. Maka ditekankan dalam Muhammadiyah agar ketika kita bekerja, apapun pekerjaannya, tidak semata-mata adalah untuk mencari materi, tetapi adalah kaitannya dengan untuk amal tadi. Amal yang itkon ya. Eh, apa namanya? Innallaha katabal ihsan ala kulli syai' ya. Idza amila amalan ayyutqinahu. Nah itu. Jadi Allah sangat mencintai seorang ketika dia bekerja maka dilakukan dengan itqon ya, dengan ihsan, dengan profesionalitas Nabi itu. Jadi yang kedua tadi apa yang disampaikan problemnya tadi semua ya apapun ya bentuk gerakan dakwah pasti menghadapi problem begitu. Ada yang bisa bertahan, ada yang tidak bisa bertahan ya. Nah ini maka tadi kemampuan kita mengatasi masalah itulah yang tadi dipentingkan dalam revitalisasi. Nah ini mudah-mudahan apa namanya eh, gerakan dakwah Muhammadiyah tadi yang sudah didasarkan kepada akidah Islam, ya Al-Quran dan As-Sunnah, karena mencari ridho Allah akan senantiasa mendapatkan pertolongan, dimudahkan dalam setiap gerakan, termasuk tadi mencerdaskan ya, termasuk Liban dan teman-teman semua ini juga concern dari Muhammadiyah sehingga kita melakukan semua aktivitas itu dilakukan dengan yang terbaik ya, dengan yang terbaik. Ketika kita melakukan dengan terbaik, tentu saja orang lain menghargai, institusi akan menghargainya. Tetapi di balik itu semuanya harus ada yang lebih tinggi adalah kita bekerja untuk mencari juga amal ya, amal. Saya kira itu, terima kasih. Ini kok Samar sepertinya terpental ya.
Ini
Terpental.
absennya sudah, Pak, atau belum?
Nanti saya absenkan ya. Saya absenkan.
Oke.
Ada problem apa namanya loadingnya. Terima kasih. Nanti izin saya share juga. Saya convert videonya. Saya kunci hanya untuk kepentingan internal.
Ini PowerPoint-nya aku submit.
PowerPoint-nya dikirim ke saya ke WA ya.
Oke, Pak.
Sukses selalu buat Liban, dimudahkan.
Amin. Insya
Saya
Allah.
kemarin ini has kontak Mas Novan.
Iya.
Ya Mas Novan, silakan Liban bisa untuk mengambil magister PAI nanti sambil untuk apa namanya menunggu statusnya wisuda dari yang S2 magisternya.
Oh, berarti ditunggu wisuda dulu.
Ya, ditunggu yudisium.
Oke.
Yudisium kan kira-kira bulan
Januari.
Januari ya, Masya
Iya.
Allah, Masya Allah. Januari atau dari sekarang ya sudah mulai bisa pendaftaran lah begitu. Pendaftaran nanti untuk persisnya status menjadi mahasiswa S2 nanti tinggal di switch saja menjadi mahasiswa S2 PAI. Tapi Mas Topan sudah memberikan rambu-rambu eh, oke dan apa namanya it's good chance for you to continue in apa namanya prodi ya department
Insya Allah, Pak.
ya ya barakallahu fikum.
Syukur.
Oke, terima kasih kita akhiri dan kita apresiasi presentasi dari Liban. Syukron jazakumullah khairan. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
I will convert this video and I will share to our class ya. Thank you
Oke,
very
sir.
much. Ya, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.